came together last night in San Fran. Steven Strasburg, 9 innings later, with 8 extra base hits from his offense, had lifted the Nats to a blowout win. Doug Fister takes the mound tonight, looking to stretch his win streak to 5. Scored 9 runs on 12 hits at a place like AT Park. Everybody wants to root for you in Game 2. Welcome to Game 2 of this 4-game series. Hi, guys. They are dressed and ready for action. And so are the Nats, having won 8 of their last 10 now. Offense is clicking. And along with that, FP, really the story lately, the unbelievable performance and the efficiency of this pitching staff.
Yeah, last 6 starts, 47 strikeouts, no walks for this staff, 48 strikeouts in a row if you go back to Jordan Zimmerman's start 2 starts ago. But I think a lot of credit needs to go to Steve McCatty. Everybody talking about the pitching staff, and justifiably so. These guys are out there getting it done on the mound, but Steve McCatty is working tirelessly with these guys behind the scenes, making adjustments from start to start, going out, and when he makes a trip, it always works. So I think a very underrated pitching coach, maybe one of the better pitching coaches in all of baseball, Steve McCatty, with one of the best staffs on a historical base as we speak.
And Strasburg, brilliant here last night. 88 pitches in 6 innings. Matt Williams got him out of the ballgame. He'll be fresh for his next start. So over the last 10, it's just been a story of domination. The record, the earned run average, the walks, and the strikeouts. Or should we say the lack thereof of walks. And here's Doug Fister, 4-0 in his last 5 starts. He's pitched against the Giants before in the World Series.
Well, he's going to love this ballpark. Keeps the ball down. First of all, he's got to keep his glove, as you saw him just drop it right there. But he wants to win a Gold Glove. He told me after his last start that that's a goal of his, to win a Gold Glove. So we love every 5th day when Doug Fister starts. He's a gamer. He's ready to go on the mound with the glove at the plate. And I think he'll do well against the Giants tonight.
Giants have outstanding pitching as well. More on Madison Bumgarner in a moment. But everybody making a big fuss about Michael Morse this year. Guess whose power numbers are identical to those of Michael Morse right now? And that's our shortstop, Ian Desmond.
Well, we knew once he got in a routine, the game would slow down. It's definitely slowed down for Ian. He's got into some counts. He's getting 2-1, 3-1 counts consistently. And he loves the month of June. In 2012 in June, he hit .301 with 5 home runs, 20 RBIs. In 2013 in June, he had .306 with 9 home runs and 28 RBI. And so far in June this year, .296, 3 taters and 10 steaks. So Ian Desmond, as the weather gets hot, so does he.
6 for 14, 9 RBIs in 3 games, 25 RBIs in 24 games, and he's 3rd in the league along with Michael Morse, 3rd in the National League. Now tonight, the Nats will have a tough assignment. Left-hander Madison Bumgarner tied for the league lead in wins with 8. He's won 6 in a row, so maybe he's due to have a bad outing. This looks like a great matchup tonight.
Well, I don't like to throw the term gamer around a lot with pitchers, but tonight you got 2 gamers out there. Maybe the marquee matchup in all of baseball. Madison Bumgarner's won 6 straight decisions. His 2-seam fastball is as good as anybody in the league. He's got a lot of deceptions with his turn and his delivery, 3-quarter release, and he can hit too, so it's going to be a fun matchup and a good game to watch. A pitcher's duel brewing here in San Francisco.
8-3 with a 2.68 ERA, and some of those numbers even better in this pitcher's park. Bumgarner against the Nats should be interesting in San Fran tonight. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories, Navy Federal Credit Union. The soft hands of Adam LaRoche, the pitching, the defense, everything working together for the Nats. And Jetman is in McCovey Cove tonight. Wow.
I want one of those. I want one of those. I want one of those.
That is called the flyboard, a cross between a jet ski and a jet pack.
I can see you doing that, Carp, in the Anacostia tomorrow.
I can't wait. Well, just hope the Masson yacht doesn't run over me
when we get home.
Visit trainsearch.com to find your local Train Comfort Specialist dealer. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. Cool tonight, 59 degrees. Humidity way up there. It is breezy here at AT&T Park. It's blowing hard out toward left field. Denard Span 3 extra base hits for the first time in a Washington uniform last night. Doubles in the first and the seventh, triple in the fourth. He scored 2 runs, and now Denard Span is hitting .365 and has scored 12 runs in his last 11 ball games. Good to see Anthony Rendon back in the lineup tonight against a guy like Madison Bumgarner, who is 8-3 with a .268 ERA.
Fastball averaging 92 for Bumgarner. It was 91 early in the season. His mechanics finally clicked, and it's got to around 93, 94 at times. If you watch him, he's a crossfire guy to where he's on the first base side of the rubber, really steps toward the first base line. A lot of deception in the delivery. Got a nasty slider at 88 to go with it. Mixing an occasional curve and a changeup at 83. Set the defense for the Giants behind Bumgarner tonight. Blanco, Pagan, Pence the outfield. Crawford, Sandoval left side. Hicks, Morse right side. And Buster Posey behind the dish.
Yeah, they have Angel Pagan back in there tonight. Alfonso Marquez, 15th year, has the plate. Phil Cuzzy, first base. Crew chief, that's Jerry Davis in his 31st year at second. And Quinn Wolcott at third. Anthony Rendon, Friday night in San Diego, he took one, and I mean hard, off the bare hand at the hot corner.
And they had to look at Rendon today in batting practice to decide if he was okay. They put him in the lineup, checked him out during BP. He stayed in the lineup, so missed a few games with that ground ball off the meat hand, and he is back tonight, and we are glad to see him.
Yeah, he's been great over his last 6 ball games. Hitting at .417. So here's Bumgarner against Span. Pablo Sandoval's about 4 steps onto the grass on the left side. First pitch of the ball game, it is right at the knees, and we're underway at 10:16 Eastern time. The Nats have won 8 of their last 10, and they have punished their opponents to the tune of 62 runs to 18. Staggering numbers. Denard, 1 for 5 against Bumgarner, who has a record in 6 starts against the Nats of 2-2 with a 2.61 ERA.
Well, you got a pitcher's duel tonight. It's a team that does the little things best. To me, is a key to this game. You have Bumgarner, who's on some kind of streak, career best 6-game win streak. He's 6-0 with a 1.91 in that streak. And Doug Fister just as good. Last 3 starts for Bumgarner, 0.82 ERA, 25 strikeouts, 1 walk in 22 innings. And the reason I'm telling you all this, because we told you the same thing about the Reds and Johnny Cueto.
Who was the hottest hitter, or rather pitcher in the league at the time. The Nats got a hold of him. And Span will line one to center, but he hit it too well. Carries right to Angel Pagan. He's had some great early game swings lately. Tough luck there. Rendon and Worth now the next 2.
A nice piece of hitting right there. Foot down early. Very simple approach for Denard Span lately. I think the key to that being on your legs that he's been featuring is staying on them. A lot of times guys will get down and they'll bend their knees and they straighten out in the course of their at-bat. And what that does is their head moves. And that makes the pitch move. But Denard Span has kept his head still.
Anthony Rendon takes a high strike. He's 1 for 2 career against the Giants lefty. Nats have been so good against left-handed pitchers this year. Time to put that back to work. And Rendon will line one to left.
Hands okay.
Yeah, welcome back to the lineup, buddy. 2 line drives to start the game.
Well, it seems like for about the 30th time this year for Anthony Rendon, there goes a no-hitter. Miss a few days, not a problem. Facing one of the hottest pitchers in baseball. Fastball middle in, short compact swing. A to B as fast as anybody. I'll probably say it about 3 more times tonight.
And now stepping in, the Nats' best hitter against left-handers. That's Jason Worth. 426. Only Tulowitzki and Justin Upton have higher batting averages against lefties than this guy. And Bumgarner gets ahead again. Jason hitting safely. 11 of his last 12 games with 18 hits. 7 RBIs, 8 runs over that time. Not a lot of success against Bumgarner. 1 for 8 career with a walk. And he just requested Jerry Davis move to the other side away from Bumgarner's left arm. Strike 2. This guy has almost a ridiculously easy looking low stress type motion. The ball must get on you in a hurry.
Well, he's got a 3/4 release point, and that's been the challenge for Bumgarner throughout his years, to keep that release point. You have to be a strong man to throw the baseball from right there for 100 pitches a game. And what you have to fight if you're a 3/4 guy is that release point dropping as you fatigue. And right here it does. That's why the pitch is high. He loses his release point. It's up and away. But like I said, a crossfire guy. The slider at times will stay in the same plane. Sometimes it has a little depth to it where it breaks down as well. He'll cut the fastball and sink it.
And Worth will pop this one up into right field for Hunter Pence. Adam LaRoche is next. Well, I told you last week it would take about to the middle of this week to get LaRoche back into the batting categories, the batting department leaders in the National League, and it happened after last night's game. So he checks in as the number 9 batting average guy at 306, with his on-base percentage of 417 being the 4th best. And even against a lefty, they play a modified shift, not as dramatic as they would against a right-hander.
LaRoche hitting .257 against lefties this year with no home runs.
4 career hits against Bumgarner in 18 at-bats.
Well, this might be the daily outside strike that wasn't a strike for Adam LaRoche. Well, looks good on pitch track. He didn't like it. He is having a talk with Alfonso Marquez. Nats hitting .287 as a ball club against lefties this year. And there's the numbers for LaRoche.
And he's all locked up on a breaking ball. Bumgarner, a line drive, a fly ball. Now his first strikeout. Nats leave a runner. Now it's Doug Fister against the Giants. Doug Fister, first regular season start against the Giants. And he comes in a hot pitcher, 4-1 with a 3.19 ERA in 6 starts.
There's the Arsenal fastball 88, 2-seam it, 4-seam it, slider 84, curveball 73, changeup 80.
Angel Pagan is batting .347 left-handed. Ball 1. .321 overall, 5th best in the National League. So if you throw out that first start against Oakland, the numbers are really, really good for Fister, who got roughed up by the A's across the bay. And here he is against the Giants, and one of the best leadoff guys in baseball right now.
Yeah, last start he posted his 4th straight win, 4-2 Thursday against the Phillies. Gave up 2 runs on 4 hits.
Pagan gets a pitch up, 2-0, and a good battle back by Fister. Ryan Zimmerman making things look routine out there in left field. So there's Angel Pagan. Talked about the .347 average against right-handed pitchers. On-base percentage good. RBI's good. He's hitting .368 at home, and he's also one of the Giants' best producers with runners in scoring position. Next up, Hunter Pence, who's 6th in the league in hits and 3rd in runs. And a high fastball slammed off the upper chest protector of Alfonso Marquez. He got rattled by that one.
Yeah, he's checking to see if everything's where it's supposed to be right now. He's taking inventory. Watch this. Welcome to the game. Alfonso Marquez, a direct hit. That was off the mask, Carp. Direct blow. Let's listen to it.
Wow. Bottom of the mask up near that collarbone area.
Well, it's like a boxer. You see him kind of playing with his jaw right there. He got that one right on the button, right on the jaw. Nice round of applause, and he's staying in the game. He's at the defense for the Nats. Ryan left field, Span and Worth. Desmond Rendon left side, Espinosa LaRoche right side, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
And Fister just missing away. Good drop on that fastball, trying to run it back to the corner. And now he's ahead. Hunter Pence 1 for 3 career against the Nats right-hander.
That's what he's been doing so well, is working ahead, moving the fastball around. 1 pitch is in, 1 pitch is out. Throwing the changeup in any count. And the curveball last time out against the Phillies was the out pitch.
Good job of getting it on his hands right there. He paints the outside corner. Hunter Pence doesn't like the call. Now LaRoche had one called on him away, and this time on Pence. 2 outs.
Little backdoor 2-seam fastball. Ramos setting up away. Watch it come back. Just nip the outside corner. And Hunter Pence looking inside, and that's what Doug Fister will do to you. He's going to work the inner half, work the outer half, move it around, keep you guessing. Right there, Hunter Pence guessed wrong. Get your glove.
And with 2 outs, here's Buster Posey riding a 7-game hitting streak, and that's a strike. Got a base hit early last night, double in the first. Went 1 for 3, and like some other Giants and a couple of Nats, pulled out of that lopsided game to just get a late night breather. And Fister has him 0-2. Pretty good running fastball. Ian Desmond waiting for that soft roller. Great first inning for Doug Fister. The Nats still strike people out. They don't walk anybody, and they're getting 1-2-3s.
Alfonso Marquez to see if he's okay. Classy move by the Nats right-hander after he goes 1-2-3 in the bottom of the first. Marquez saying, yeah, Madison, I'm fine. Let's go down to Madison Dan. He's got more on Madison Bumgarner.
FP, this might very well turn out to be nothing, but there was some rumblings out of the Giants clubhouse last night after Michael Morse was drilled by an Aaron Barrett fastball in the 7th inning. Now, the Nationals obviously like Morse as a guy. He's well regarded in their clubhouse, and Barrett would have no reason to drill Morse in that situation. He doesn't have any personal history with him. Said that he just met the guy once when he was on a rehab assignment at Single A Hagerstown, and Barrett told me that he didn't throw at Morse intentionally. But 2 days ago, Hunter Pence was drilled in the ribs by the Mets, and the Giants felt that one was intentional, and players took note of Morse getting plunked last night. Bumgarner is known as an old-school type of guy and has shown he's not afraid to mix it up in the past. Now, none of this is to say that he will make a statement tonight, but it is something to keep an eye on as we go forward.
Well, I hardly think the Nats are responsible for something the Mets did. If the Giants are sensitive about that, wait till they play the Mets next time. Pretty good swing by Ryan Zimmerman, and this one backs up Pagan in center field.
Zach Wheeler drilled us, so we're going to drill you. That makes zero sense. And Michael Morse was beloved in the Nats clubhouse. That would be the last guy maybe in all of baseball they would ever think about hitting.
Well, when you get pounded at home, there's a little frustration. We saw it in Baltimore on Sunday. Things got out of hand in that ball game with Oakland, and last night the Giants gave up more runs in this ballpark than they had all year.
That's their worst loss of the season.
Bumgarner on his game, throwing strikes, getting ahead. Wilson Ramos takes a strike. Nats catcher 1 for 5 against the lefty.
Well, I thought Ian Desmond, very classy move last night. He was going for the cycle. Last at bat, flew out and threw his bat down disgust.
There's another line drive hit with 1 out. Ramos will make a big turn of the bag, and he's going for 2, and he is going to be in there. Wilson Ramos smelling a double, and he makes sure he got there with 1 out.
Well, they're hitting the ball hard off Bumgarner early on. Denard Span with a line out. Anthony Rendon smoked his single to left. Ryan Zimmerman with a line out to center. Now Wilson Ramos with a hard hit ball down the line. It sends Gregor Blanco toward the fence, and Ramos reading it. Little hesitation around first, but a hustle double for the Buffalo.
Well,
nice
he's bubbling. He's now hitting over 340 his last 13 games. So here's Desmond. And you know, with first base open, you would at least expect the Giants to pitch him carefully.
But I thought it was very classy of Ian last night to say after the game, he wasn't even asked about it. He said that was Bush League what I did, throwing my bat down like that in disgust, going for it, the cycle. I think he's a little hard on himself, but I understand his thinking. Up 9-2, you don't want to wake anybody up. You don't want to show anybody up.
And Desmond will hook one out to left center. It'll play for Pagan, who's already made 3 putouts in the game, 2 down. Let's hear more about that situation through Dan, something his manager had to say.
Guys, I asked Matt Williams about Desmond's reaction to that last night, and he said the fact that Desmond's uneasy about it just tells me how he respects the game and his opponent. He wants to win, but he wants to respect the game while he does it. Desmond didn't have to apologize after the game, but he made sure that he did, and he talked to Bruce Bochy behind the cage earlier today. Respects the game, wants to do it the right way, guys.
That's Ian Desmond in a nutshell. Well, Danny Espinosa exploited by the Giants high in the zone last night, went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts on high fastballs. This year's been a different story for Danny from the right side. He's hitting .260, but first base open, 2 outs, pitcher on deck.
A left-handed hitting pitcher on deck.
Yeah. They give Danny Espinosa anything he can drive. That's a big mistake. And they've jammed him a couple of times, 2-0.
They're just going to put him on now. Smart move by Bruce Bochy.
Well, feel free to boo at home. If this was in our ballpark, you'd be doing that, but everybody understands what's going on.
I still got to get a Fister out, though.
Yeah, Doug Fister. 1 out of 10 this year, 5 career hits, 2 RBIs.
Tested in Art Span what he saw. Look at that. Little homework. Little Insta scouting report before he walks up there. Left-hander to left-hander. I like it. He told him, look, he's going to stand on the first base side of the rubber. He's going to step toward first base. It's going to look really, really weird, but hang in there. Good hack.
And a foul tip on that one. 0-2.
2 pretty good hacks.
And Bob Henley looking at a Ramos, signaling him 2 outs. You are going on anything here. It's put in play. Outfield way around to the left. And Doug Fister can't reach that one. Bumgarner took him a little bit more away on every pitch. 2 Ks for him. The Nats have stranded 3 already. Different uniform as a Detroit Tiger. He pitched a fantastic ball game. Only charged with 1 run pitching into the 7th inning. And some strange things happened to their bullpen after he was in this game. And there was something crazy that happened during the game as he took a line drive off the top of his ball cap and then kept on pitching for quite a while.
He was actually at this game. And Doug Fister stayed in the game. He gave up 1 run. The Tigers end up losing the game 2-0. But Doug Fister pitched 6 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run, and actually got the loss in that game against the San Francisco Giants. And the whole time I was at the game, I was thinking that should be the Nationals playing the Tigers. And that's the only thought I couldn't get out of my head the entire game.
Well, you and a lot of people.
It was weird. I sat here and watched the game, and it just didn't even seem real to me. Still trying to get over that Game 5 loss.
Pablo Sandoval, bottom of the 2nd for San Francisco. Doug Fister, first inning, 11 pitches, 8 strikes. Sandoval, 1 for 3 career against him. And he's behind 2-0. Dangerous left-handed batter here. And he throws him a changeup that has serious drop right at the end.
Yeah, I'll throw that thing in any count. The changeup command, the off-speed command to go with the fastball has just been fun to watch.
And a drive to center. Denard Span got a good jump, just no way to get there. And the Giants have their first base hit.
Well, I think the truck is trying to cheer me up a little bit. They want to show a beast Tater from the playoffs, and I'll watch. I like how he holds onto the bat, flips it toward the dugout. And that was early in Game 5 when Nats Park was just a zoo, an absolute zoo.
6-0 lead early. And here's Michael Morse, 6th in the league with 30 extra base hits. And against Doug Fister, 1 for 6. They've seen each other in the American League before.
I mean, you couldn't even hear yourself think when he hit that home run. I don't know what was louder, that home run or Jason Wirth's in Game 4 the night before. They're both as loud as I've ever heard a ballpark. Maybe even in a stadium.
Keeping the ball in on Michael Morse, and he can't get to 90 right there.
All right, I'm back to 2014. I'm back. A little hot tub time machine there for a second. I'm back.
Okay. Got the flex capacitor.
Yeah.
All
I'm here.
Oiled up, and no more trips for now.
Yeah.
Michael Morse, a double play guy. If he can get a grounder, he's bounced into 9 of them, and he takes that one right on the outside edge. Not much to dispute there. That was a good pitch. And Fister has his second strikeout. Nissan will track it.
Well, Marquez has called the corners early. He called one on Adam LaRoche. He called strike 3 on Hunter Pence in the same exact spot. The run back fastball away. And you see Michael Morse with his body kind of leaning toward his own dugout. And that's what Doug Fister will do to you. Make you wear that two-seam fastball in. Get you thinking about the inner half. And then lock you up away late. Nicely done.
It's 50 strikeouts now as this crazy streak continues.
50
kind of weird
strikeouts without a walk.
Kind of weird when Sandoval had that 3-1 count.
I was thinking it.
At least he earned his way on and didn't walk, but you're just wishing the ball to be put into play there.
Well, I said in the open, and if you just join us a little bit late, Steve McCatty deserves a lot of credit. One of the best pitching coaches in baseball, and his staff is clicking in every way, shape, and form. He works with these guys between starts, tinkering, making adjustments, makes trips at the right time in the course of a game, relocks guys back in. And I think he deserves a little love for all the great work he's done so far this season. Not a lot said about Steve McCatty, but in my mind, one of the best.
And thanks to Steve for sitting in with Johnny and Ray on Nats Extra pregame tonight. As well as Dan Coco, of course, here from the ballpark.
Who? Mass and Dan. All right.
And a 1-2, and that's a late-breaking slider that's up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gregor Blanco, who led off last night. He went 1 for 4 with an 8th inning base hit. And then on that base hit by Adrianza in the 9th inning, he was gunned out at third by Wilson Ramos. It's out of play. And the count 2-2 here, bottom of the second, no score. Crazy game in Colorado. Braves went out 7-3. Then it was 8-5, and now in the 5th inning it's 10-7.
Falcons 10, Broncos 7.
That's going to run back to the inside corner and not be called a strike.
It's a good pitch.
Right under the hands of Blanco.
They tried the run back fastball in the inner half and didn't get the call. Probably the exact same spot as strike 3 to Michael Morse.
And that'll be popped up to the left side. Ian Desmond going out. A ways to go, but it's Ryan Zimmerman's ball. Now Ryan helping infielders after he spent years hoping for help from outfielders.
Yeah, don't panic, Ryan. Or Ian, that's Ryan left field. Enjoy a $1 hot dog presented by Hatfield at Nats Park on Wednesday, June 18th, as the Nats Welcome, Bo Porter and the Houston Astros. 7:05 start. $1 hot dogs available for purchase at all Nat's dog stands. Additional select locations until the start of the 6th inning, because you have to drive home, of course. 202-675-NATS and nationals.com/specials for more details.
Number 7 hitter Brandon Crawford.
That washed down a hot dog.
That ball's well hit to left. Ryan Zimmerman back, running kind of a circle route to it, waiting for it, and on the run, Ryan Zimmerman continues to impress in left field.
Very nonchalant on the running catch on the warning track for Ryan left field. I got it. I got it. I got it. Orchard. A little Devon White in this catch. Not a problem. I mean, I think it's a good sign. Very relaxed running catch on the track. And I think his teammates enjoyed it as much as we did up here.
Top of the 3rd, top of the order for the Nats. Denard Span hit the ball on the button right at Angel Pagan first time. This is a ground ball for Brandon Crawford. Close play, 1 out. Anthony Rendon right back into the lineup, and the baseball right into left field on a line drive, first time up. Over his last 8 games now, batting right around .420.
Well, the book on Rendon for the Giants so far has been in. He's seen 3 pitches. They've all been fastballs in. He lined 1 for a single to left. Changeup.
And a 1-1. He had a good late rip at that. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Interesting. Buster Posey put down 3 right there, and that ball was 90 miles an hour. Might have been the cutter or the sign for the cutter. But usually 3 is a slider, unless that was a 90-mile-an-hour slider from Bumgarner. It does average 88, so that might have been a slider. That's a fastball up. He went slider up, fastball up, curveball, changeup, and he shook them all off.
And you could look at the uniform of
Fastball
Madison Bumgarner and tell how the wind is whipping on the field tonight. It's a lot cooler than it was last evening. Quite breezy here.
Nice play and a hop. And that panda hat looks good on you.
So that wind kind of blowing toward the east here. From home plate to center field here faces southeast out toward the water. Wind whipping from right to left. And a 1-2 with one out to Anthony Rendon. Pitch up, close. Ball 2. Let's see what Mercedes thinks.
Well, they're going back in, one pitch away. Then he goes fastball in the inner half.
And Rendon on 78. Not able to make any contact. Strikeout number 3 for Madison Bumgarner.
A good curveball right here, 78 miles an hour. He's got Rendon thinking about the fastball in, and he drops the hammer on him for strike 3. Both pitchers tonight, as advertised so far, moving the ball around nice, getting ahead in the count, doing their thing.
Jason Worth flied to right first time up. In and out, up and down. Bumgarner very efficient.
I mean, we're sitting real nice and low here in San Francisco, Carbon. If you watch his delivery and where he starts on the mound and how he hides the baseball, this is stuff that you really have to kind of be as low as we are to see. Tough to see from the center field camera from behind him, but when you're looking right where we are, you just see the deception and how the ball just comes out of nowhere at the end. That's what he's made a lot of his success out of, is the deception delivery. The stuff is fantastic. The makeup off the charts, but the deception. I mean, even for a right-hander, watch where this is coming out of the window. It's coming out of.
1-2 now. Yeah, he's got that long arm delivery, and the ball disappears behind his uniform for a while before he brings it around. Way inside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bumgarner career 57 and 42. This is his 129th career start. 7th time against the Nats. Couple of no decisions last year. They only got him 1 run in the 2 games he pitched against the Nats. 2-2, and Worth will foul tip it into Buster Posey's mitt. First time the Nationals go 1-2-3 tonight. It only happened once last night. So after 2.5, try to hit this if you can see it. Firefighters Appreciation Night here at AT Park in San Francisco. We're going to the bottom of the third. Brandon Hicks, Madison Bumgarner, and Angel Pagan. 28 pitches, 18 strikes for Doug Fister. In his first 2 innings, he's given up 1 hit. Facing Brandon Hicks for the first time, and that fastball up in a place where there's a hole and a lot of swings. Hicks spelling Marco Scutaro, who is hurt, has had a bad back since spring training. There's one right in there above the knees, 0-2.
Yeah, make you wear the inner half and see if he goes away. Tried.
And that's a check swing that hit the bat. Brandon Hicks in AAA all of last year with the Mets at Vegas. Now finds himself playing second base for the team with the best record in the major leagues. Desmond throws out Hicks, 1 out, and that's 4 straight for Fister.
Time for our lows never stop improving. And how about Ian Desmond? Look at the numbers on the errors and how he's improved. First 20 games, 8, last 41, 5. The fielding percentage up, the batting average up. We talked in the open about how he likes the month of June.
Whoa.
And by the way, Madison Bumgarner can hit. He is some kind of country strong.
Yeah, 6 hits this year, a 146 career batter with 3 home runs.
Fister's ready to go. Look at this. I don't think Doug Fister was really fond of that first hack that Madison Bumgarner took. He's on the mound ready to go. Look at this. He's ready to go again.
And he overthrows that fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Bumgarner, a homer this year, 5 RBIs, 6 base hits.
A little game within the game going on here. Doug Fister got his licks in. He let it rip when he was up there. Bumgarner came up and he took some hacks. I like it.
Hit a grand slam April 11th off Jorge De La Rosa of Colorado. And Bumgarner reaching. He'll foul it back and extend this AB for a while. Three and 2. Almost as if Bumgarner was destined to get a hit in that at bat. With some of the swings he took, he's aboard with 1 out.
Well, I'm shocked that he's only hitting 207 coming into this game. He's got a home run, like you said, but that was the best at bat of the night for the Giants by far, and it was by their pitcher.
Well, if that doesn't fire up a dugout, I don't know what would. He's hitting 233 now and to the top of the order for Angel Pagan. Pagan flied to Zimmerman first time up. He got 1 AB in that game last night. Came off the bench and hit a hard hopper right at Ian Desmond. Fooled on that one, couldn't really keep swinging or stop it.
Well, against Doug Fister, you're telling yourself as a hitter to elevate the fastball, get it up. Pagan saw the pitch up, his eyes lit up, and by the time he realized it was a changeup, he couldn't stop.
Wow. Even though it wasn't where Ramos was set up, it appeared to be a strike. Ramos was set up outside edge. Doug Fister, you might notice, works from the third base side of the pitching rubber. He's got some giddy up on that 89 up and away.
Loving the fastball tonight early.
And a bounce to short. Or second base. And Espinosa didn't decide to do the relay. Bumgarner evidently slowed up long enough to prevent the double play, and Matt Williams is going to come out and turn the umpire, Phil Cuzzy, and see if the Nats have a chance for an appeal here.
Well, I'm with Matt Williams in the first base dugout. I thought he was out at first. That was a bad play by Madison Bumgarner to just simply run into the tag of Danny Espinosa to allow it to be that close. Espinosa and Desmond watching their manager. Let's see if he gets the thumbs up from Randy Knorr. Randy Knorr on the phone. He's got a lot of minutes left this month. He hasn't really used them.
This one's taken a while to find out from the clubhouse. And he says, yes, the Nats are going to challenge.
I think it's worth it from where we're sitting, and we're pretty close here. He looked out.
Hey, and this is Angel Pagan on first base with 2 outs.
It was the stutter step. And I can't tell right there with that view. You saw him kind of chop his steps. He's been out with a bad knee, and it looked like he had a bad knee running to first base. Maybe this will show it.
And Danny thought he had a pretty easy play. Espinosa kind of eased off on the throw a bit.
Let's see what we got here. This should do it.
Well, that's pretty close.
That little stutter step might have been the difference.
Has to be conclusive. Not much of a reaction from the crowd here as they show it on the board.
Maybe we can slow this down right when it gets in LaRoche's glove. I still can't tell.
Yeah, that's one of those where the umpire might have to go on the sound of the ball and the foot hitting the bag. But if you win this challenge, and Angel Pagan's 0 for 2 either way, but you keep him off base in a 2-out situation where he's 11 for 13 stealing.
Yeah, that's the one I want to see.
And again now, lately, FP, as opposed to beginning of the year, the ball's got to be in the pocket of the glove, not just inside the leather.
I'm kind of wondering how this guy's back is doing right here. Look at the load he's featuring. He's got the boombox in there. They're listening to music. The guy's eating chips behind him. Did you see the guy behind him? He knows he's on TV.
Longer this takes, the more concerned you get.
I will say this in their defense, this is a tough one. That last shot we had, you couldn't tell if Angel Pagan's foot was on the base or hovering over the base, but if it was hovering over the base, he was out. It's not an easy one.
Off come the headsets. Runner safe. Two minutes and 26 seconds to get that one. Now keep in mind, Pagan 11 of 13 stealing. Fister not an easy guy to steal against. He's quick. And Wilson Ramos has thrown out 7 of 15 opposing base runners. Wouldn't that be something if you picked him off on the first throw after the challenge?
Well, he's got the bad knee. Did you see him hop back into the base right there and kind of almost buckle after he hit it? He didn't look healthy run to first. Missed 2 games because of that knee, and he's back in there tonight.
And a relatively short lead for him.
I think that was a good challenge by Matt Williams, even though he didn't win it. And that was one of those that just didn't have that definitive shot to tell one way or the other. But I think, Matt's shaking his head right now, but he saw what we saw.
That's ball 3 to Hunter Pence.
Pretty good pitch. Heads up for the green light right here.
And that might have been ball 4 coming down and into him off the plate. But I know that the league has learned something. If you stand around in the batter's box waiting for a walk against this pitching staff, as a rule, it's not going to happen. Just not a great job of keyholing a 3-0 pitch.
Well, when he decided to swing, it was where he wanted it, middle in, and then he went to swing and the bottom dropped down. So at decision time, he probably made the right choice, just didn't know it was going to drop that much.
Now he goes the other way and gashes it into right. Pagan stopping at second. Yeah, he's not right. Running the bases. Angel Pagan would be standing on third if healthy.
Well, he hobbled to first on the challenge. He hobbled back in on a few pickoffs, and then he hobbled into second base, and Hunter Pence got something out over the plate and barreled a baseball. Runners on first and second, 2 outs.
Hunter Pence now has 74 hits on the year. It's in the top 5 in the league. And suddenly, because of the pitcher getting a base hit, this has become a dangerous looking inning. Here's Buster Posey. He grounded out softly to Desmond first time up. And that is a 12-6 curveball that had him jumping all over the place.
And Posey had notions of 3-0 Giants. Good pitch, good choice by Wilson Ramos and Doug Fister.
A fastball up. Denard Span after it in the gap, and he's there. Fister gives up 2 base hits. Giants have left 3, Nats have left 3. Into the middle innings now, scoreless.
No scores. We head to the top of the 4th inning. Both pitchers have it going on. Giants 3 hits, Nats 2 hits. Nobody scored. It's because, first of all, this guy, Madison Bumgarner, striking out Adam LaRoche on a slider. Then he goes curveball to Anthony Rendon. So he's been good. And Doug Fister, once again, matching whoever pitch for pitch. Fastball away has been the punch-out pitch tonight for Fister. You remember, 2 starts ago was the changeup. Last start it was the curveball. Tonight it's a fastball.
Here's Adam LaRoche leading off top of the 4th. And he will get one into right field. The Nats have their 3rd base hit. First time they've had a leadoff hit tonight. And LaRoche on base for the 4th time in this series.
He'll take it. Bad dad a hero. third hit of the night for the Nats. And Ryan Zimmerman hit the ball hard first time up, straightaway center field, right to Angel Pagan.
He's hit the ball hard in this series. And a tough luck 0 for 5 so far. That one stays up and away. Ryan 3 for 15 with a home run and a walk career against Madison Bumgarner.
Well, I'll tell you what, people at home asking me if it's as cold as it looks there tonight, and the answer is yes. Game time temperature 59, but the wind is whipping. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a little bit lower right now, but it is definitely a cold night here in San Francisco.
Zimmerman takes one outside, 2-1.
Well, they're safe out of the elements.
Got to keep those guys safe. And that is upstairs, ball 3.
Yeah,
Ryan flied to center first time. I mean, even Bumgarner gives you something in the zone you're looking. There's still some sort of late movement that makes contact tough.
Well, it's hard to tell the difference between his cutter and his slider. I mean, they're both the same velocity. That one had a little more downward action to it, but at 89, it was moving toward Ryan.
And Zimmerman will bounce it to the left side. Crawford for one. Out at second on a 6-4-3.
Well, nicely turned by the Giants right here. I didn't think they had a chance to get Ryan Zimmerman, but he got jammed a little bit, had trouble getting out of the batter's box, and that might have been the difference. Crawford with a perfect feed, and Hicks with a nice turn, and they barely get Zimmerman at first base.
Giants lead the National League in double plays with 68.
That was nifty.
Bases empty, 2 outs. Wilson Ramos next. He lined to double to left first time, and he gets a first pitch curveball here.
All right, fans, time for you to tweet your photos. You know the drill. Use the hashtag #MASSonFanPhotos for a chance to have it shown in a future broadcast. So we'll show you one tonight that's brought to you by AT&T.
And the curveball stays outside, 2-1.
Well, these are kind of games that have an October feel to them, don't they?
More ways than one.
Two great pitchers going at it, great defense. Little things decide those kind of baseball games.
Top of the 4th, no score. And a 2-2 count with 2 outs. Target away. Ramos has to reach out and hit a 2-hopper to Brandon Hicks. Madison Bumgarner, well, he wasn't due for a bad outing, evidently, after winning 6 in a row. Pretty good through 4.
Bottom of the 4th inning. Folks, you can travel to see the Nats play the Cubs in Chicago later this month. The Nationals Destinations package includes game tickets, hotel accommodations, a VIP ballpark tour, and more. It should include a helmet and a mouthpiece if you're going to Chicago. Visit nationals.com/destinations to book your trip today. They're going to Chicago.
Yeah, don't forget, when we're in Chicago, there will be a day-night doubleheader on that Saturday, wrapping up that series, and an off day, a very unusual off day on Sunday.
It's a fun town. Bring your helmet.
Pablo Sandoval leads off, bottom of the 4th. He led off in the 2nd, singled out to left center. One of 3 San Francisco hits. On a pitch up, he does it almost identically. Ryan Zimmerman over to get it, picks it up on the in-between hop and gets it back in quickly. Pablo 2 for 2, bringing in Michael Morse.
Well, he got a nice game plan against Doug Fister. Not thinking about pulling the baseball at all, just going the other way. Letting that sinker sink right on the barrel. It's a good swing.
Morse struck out looking first time. As Fister threw a couple of pitches inside, then busted him on the outside corner on a called 3rd strike. That's a busted bat. Espinosa can't get it. And Michael Morse, as strong as anybody in the league, able to drop that in for a hit.
Well, it was the right pitch. It was just elevated. They went first pitch changeup to Morse, and it was up. That ball's down. Might have been a 6-4-3 double play, but it was up. He got his hands inside, and you said it. Strong man hit that ball. Right off the hands, all the way over Danny Espinosa's head. And the Giants are threatening here in the 4th.
Gregor Blanco flied to left first time up. He's been a leadoff man. He's got good speed. As you get to the bottom of the order here, no sign of any bunt play there. Bruce got number 7 next and the number 8. Brendan Crawford's got some pop.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy doesn't like the bunt. I say that and probably square around right here, but he, generally speaking, doesn't like to give outs away.
And that's interesting, FP, considering at times over the years, tough ballpark in which to score.
It's not his style. And his style's been working. Had a couple of rocks and a pretty good record.
And a ball flied out to left center. It's got carried to it. Denard Span. And the depth of that ball enables Sandoval to tag from 2nd to 3rd. That thing had some carry. He got it up in that breeze that we talked about that's blowing out to left center.
Well, a productive out for Blanco right there, as it moves Pablo Sandoval to 3rd base with 1 out. But a nice throw by Denard Span to keep the double play in order. Went all the way back to the track, got rid of it quick so Michael Morse couldn't tag up from 1st, and now you make a good pitch and get a ball on the ground, you're out of the inning.
Brandon Crawford flied to left first time up. And this is a pop-up. Left side, Desmond out. Zimmerman coming in. Ryan Zimmerman makes the catch. And Sandoval was kind of dancing around the bag at 3rd. 2 outs.
Boy, I've seen those exact pop-ups be a circus here in this ballpark, and they played it well. Wind whipping out to left field tonight. Not an easy play for Ryan Zimmerman. He called off Desmond. And a big out for Doug Fister.
For a moment, FP, I thought we might see Ryan Zimmerman's first throw to home plate.
Well, he was almost a little too quick on the transfer right here. Watch. But a nice job of making the play, keeping his feet underneath him when the wind is blowing that ball all over the place.
Number 8 man Brandon Hicks, pitcher on deck. Based on tonight, who's more dangerous? And the curveball drops in at 73. This is where the experience of Doug Fister really kicks in. Veteran guys who know what pitches to make in situations like this. And he gets a fastball up, and Worth is waiting for it. And how about that performance after 2 consecutive hits? Really,
game.
3 routine fly balls. On to the 5th, no score. China Basin, McCovey Cove nearby. Cold night in San Francisco. Could be worse. We could be at Candlestick Point. It's a little warmer up here. What, 6.2 miles to the north?
Yeah, it's a whole 3 degrees warmer up here.
Yeah. Here's Ian Desmond, top of the 5th. And he's going to get jammed and drop one into right center. Big round to the bag. And Ian Desmond has 4 hits in this series.
He might have had it. And the reason he stopped is because Angel Pagan got to the baseball, but Pagan didn't really look up. He went back to the base saying, I might have had that. And I love the fact that right out of the box, Ian Desmond put his head down and was thinking double. Most guys will sit there and watch this, say, oh, I hope it drops, I hope it drops. Watch Ian Desmond. He puts his head down, he's thinking double, and Pagan just put his head down, and he was thinking about it right here. And then Pagan stopped him, and I like the turn.
Michael Moore says, throw it to me. I'm going to pick off my ex-teammate. Here's Danny Espinosa. Intentionally walked first time. He'll break his bat, and he will drop one into center. And look at the read by Desmond all the way to third base.
What a great read.
First and third, nobody out.
Boy, bats are dying left and right tonight. And it's one of those nights. It's freezing cold. Muscles are stiff, tough to get to fastballs in the 90s on the inner half. And here in San Francisco, the barrel is highly overrated tonight. Danny Espinosa doing a nice job of throwing that out there, and Ian Desmond doing a better job of reading that it was going to drop. And he goes first to third with nobody out. And the stage is set for the scrappy Doug Fister. Do you bunt him right here and get Espinosa in a scoring position too? A lot of managers would. We'll see what Matt Williams does.
I think there's a better chance of that happening than him making some kind of contact to get a run home. And you've got Span swinging the bat well, even against lefties. Then Rendon. Sandoval on the grass at third. Other infielders are back in case Fister would swing away and hit a ground ball right at them. He didn't show any signs of squaring around on that pickoff throw.
I think he's bunting. But the bunt here is not to score Ian Desmond. The bunt is to get Danny Espinosa to second base. If it's good enough and Desmond reads it, he'll score. but the primary objective is to get Danny Espinosa to second base with 1 out.
He'll pop it up right to the pitcher. All right, man still at third base, fewer than 2 outs. Span coming up. Now, for the Giants, the double play still in order. And here's a guy coming in who can bunt for a hit. Denard is lined out to center and bounced out to short. This could be a big turnaround here. Coming off a half inning where Doug Fister had first and second, nobody out, got 3 fly balls to exit that inning. And now the Nats could jump on top here, middle of the ball game. Great speed on both bags and in the batter's box. And Desmond way down the line as that ball was pitched and fouled off to the left side.
Well, there's a reason why Doug Fister is the pitcher he is and Madison Bumgarner is the pitcher he is. Besides their stuff, it's their makeup. And in these situations, they turn it up a notch. You just saw Doug Fister do it in the bottom of the 4th, and now Madison Bumgarner trying to do the same thing here in the top of the 5th. Great pitchers have an extra gear with runners in scoring position, especially in a scoreless game. These situations are all about makeup.
Span waits for the breaking ball, drills it to left, and that ball fooled Gregor Blanco. Desmond able to score. Nationals lead 1-0 on a clutch piece of 2-strike hitting, or at least in the middle of the count hitting by Denard Span.
Nicely done. I'll tell you what, the ball is jumping to left field here tonight. That ball was not hit that well by Denard Span. Off the bat, you're saying, I wonder if this is going to be deep enough for a sac fly, and Ian Desmond didn't care. He was tagging no matter what. But the fact that it took Blanco away from the play allowed Desmond to score very easily. And the Nats are on the board, 1-0. Great at bat by Span.
Yeah, same thought process as you had. And then I'm thinking that might get over his head.
Right.
So here's Anthony Rendon with a runner at first, 2 outs.
Bumgarner has a great move. That was the Z move. His A move is as good as it gets from a lefty. Gets called for a lot of balks too.
Rendon has a base hit tonight to left. Struck out on a big curveball last time. Bumgarner, 1 balk this year.
Nice on the balk stat. I like that. You're on it.
A stat we hardly ever bring up.
Hey, how many balks does he have?
And that'll be to the outer half. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nissan will track it.
Yeah, nice pitch down the zone, outer half. You don't want that with no strikes. It's a good take.
By the time that one ended up, it was way inside. Well, Doug Fister's at 60 through 4. Bumgarner 60 pitches, 41 strikes, identical to Fister's total with 2 outs here in the 5th. Espinosa backing easily several times here.
Bumgarner does a nice job of controlling the running game, A, with a good move, but B, has a little slide step that he uses. So even if you do guess right and go first move, meaning when he picks up his right foot, you take off and hope he doesn't throw over, he's still quick to the plate.
Up and away with the heater. 93, that's about as hard as he's thrown one tonight. 24 years of age, he'll have a birthday later this summer. 10th overall player taken back in 07. Signed a 5-year contract recently that has him signed through 2017. A couple of options kick in. It could go 2 years beyond that. Rendon waiting for that slow pitch. Out of play right side. Let's go inside the numbers with Jeep. Most wins before turning 25. Some great names on that list. So he's got a chance for several more before August rolls around.
A salty veteran at age 24.
He's pitched in 2 World Series.
20 years old pitching in the World Series.
Yeah. They won 1 game in each of those series. The Giants won in 2010 and 12. Way outside, easy take for Rendon. That sets up a situation where Danny Espinosa, with all that great speed of his, could be moving with 2 outs.
Well, they're going to hold him on, and that's so he doesn't get a good jump on a gapper off the bat of Rendon.
In a ballpark with big gaps.
And Bumgarner went slide step right there in a 2-2 count that cost him a strike.
And Rendon, another base hit. Espinosa, he really didn't get a jump there at all because Bumgarner looked him back. And second base or third with 2 outs, not that big of a deal. Anthony Rendon 2 for 3 and a big 2-out chance now for Jason Worth.
What a great at bat. Just admire the short, quick, compact swing from Anthony Rendon once again. Tough to get in on when you're that quick. 2 hits to the pull side for Rendon.
6 hits by the Nats, 3 of them in this inning.
I can't tell you how many Giants people stopped me around the ballpark today. I'm talking baseball people, and said, you guys by far have the best team we've seen all season long.
After 1 game, huh?
Yeah. Pretty impressive game.
Sure. I hope they're saying the same thing to you as we leave on Thursday.
Well, I think they're right. Team's clicking in every way.
Worth has flied to right. Struck out swinging. Hitting over 400 against lefties this year, and that's inside. Counts even 1-1. Worth waiting for one there, and a high drive out of play.
That's got distance. Look at that.
Yeah, it's up over the big brick wall. Nice catch.
There's more gloves brought to the ballpark by fans in this park that I've seen in any this year, maybe ever. It seems like everybody that comes to a game here at AT&T wears their gloves. And that's how you get a foul ball. Jason Worth's brother just missed it too. Look at that. There's Jason Worth's brother on the left. Right there.
Another one to Worth, and that's a base hit to left. Bob Henley's going to send Espinosa. Throw is short. They've got the runner hung up, and it's a good thing Danny kept going hard. because Anthony Rendon was tagged out pretty quickly between second and third. The Nats lead 2-0, but they lose a runner. And Jason Worth delivers his 28th RBI.
Well, I know Rendon was thinking that a good throw had Danny Espinosa. Hitting an RBI, and let's go back and check it out one more time. Jason Worth coming up big as usual. Got a high slider, drove it in left field. You see the patented bat flip by Worth. And I'm thinking with a good throw, Danny Espinosa's out right here, but Bob Henley doing his homework and his scouting report knows that Gregor Blanco doesn't have the best arm. He threw it straight into the ground. And that allowed Espinosa to score, and the reason Rendon kept going right there is he was thinking the same thing I was. Good throw had Danny Espinosa. Blanco had the ball before Espinosa was even close to third base. He was about 2 steps from third when he had it.
Well, let's see if Doug Fister can get Madison Bumgarner out this time. It's the one hitter that's been a problem for him. Then he throws him a strike. It's fouled, 2-1. And that's a soft line drive handled by Adam LaRoche, 1 out.
Folks, you can experience a Nats game at the next level by enjoying it from a Nationals Park suite. Options include party suites, luxury suites, and the all-new Silver Slugger suite. For more information, call the number on the bottom of your screen or go to the website.
Another big crowd in San Francisco, kind of looking like their 279th consecutive sellout. We'll see. 41,957 here last night. They are third in attendance behind the Dodgers and the Cardinals. Ballpark seats 41,915. On a pitch up, Espinosa dives, gets a piece of it. Base hit, Angel Pagan. Great range and effort by Danny Espinosa. 1 on, 1 out.
Just off the end of his glove, and a healthy Angel Pagan he doesn't get. But the way Pagan has been running tonight, if he gloves this with his arm, he has a chance. What an effort by Espinosa. Good at-bat by Pagan. The Giants trying to answer in the 5th.
And here's Hunter Pence. Solid base hit to right. Last time up, he's 1 for 2. 2 for 5 in the series.
It's a huge inning for Doug Fister. Trying to get his ball club back in the dugout, looking for that shutdown inning, shutout 2. He's facing the heart of the order.
No balls, one strike to Hunter Pence. Pagano short lead, and Pence a chopper foul. Welcome to those of you on Masson who saw the Red Sox shut out the Orioles 1-0 tonight. We're in San Francisco. Bob, FP, and Dan. The Nats just scored 2 in the top of the 5th. Hammered the Giants last night. 9-2 in the 4-game series is off to a good start. Hunter Pence, right field. And a ball slicing. There were 2 1-0 games in the American League East tonight. Just in time for the Nats to go to St. Louis. The Cardinals have thrown 3 straight shutouts. 2 at Toronto and a 1-0 game at Tampa Bay tonight.
Good, get it out of your system.
That's going to be a good series this weekend. A lot of work to be done here. But so far, so good on this tough stretch. Sounded like a busted bat. Desmond Espinosa, the relay, not that close. Slow roller, tough to turn to.
That's either 3rd or 4th bat that Doug Fister has broke tonight.
PNC Bank for the achiever in you. And we go into the minor league ranks for Matt Grace, 8th rounder out of UCLA. He's 25 years of age. And over the last 10 games at Harrisburg, the lefty. Look at the ERA, the innings. Piling up some saves, doing a good job at the back end of the bullpen there.
I'd say he's ready to call him up, but the way this staff is pitching, sorry.
No jobs available right now.
You have to stay there.
Buster Posey, 0 for 2. Ground ball to short, fly ball to center. Hunter Pence is 7 of 8 stealing this year. The Giants have 1 steal more than the Nats, 30 over 29. Right in there to Posey.
He's loving that 2-seamer tonight, throwing it a lot.
With the runner holding, a drive to right. Here comes Worth. Jason there in plenty of time. And Doug Fister gets the shutdown inning right after his teammates got him 2 runs.
Hitters are seeing tonight from both starting pitchers. We talked about the deception of Madison Bumgarner. And where's the ball coming out? What window is the baseball coming out of? Go ahead and roll it, guys. You see the deception, the turn? Yeah. Okay. Seeing that or not seeing that. How about Doug Fister? Where's the ball going to come out of? And that's what you do as a hitter. You're looking for the window, the release point of where the ball's going to come out of. And Doug Fister more over the top. But both guys with big turns, both guys showing you their numbers. And then all of a sudden the ball's the last thing to come out. So it's stuff, command, plus deception. And with both guys, like I've said a few times tonight, makeup off the charts.
Adam LaRoche, a good rip on a pitch up. 6th inning underway. He singled last time up. And LaRoche last night a double, 2 walks. That on base percentage hovering around .420 right now. And the curveball stays inside, 2-1. That one breaking away at the last moment, couldn't stop a swing. Oh yeah, another long count with Adam LaRoche in the batter's box. He has walked 31 times this year, struck out only 34. They really bunch him on the left side of the infield. A lot of room up the middle. And LaRoche will pull this one and jack it hard to right. And that gets beyond Hunter Pence. LaRoche will go to second as Pence is up with it. And he is 2 for 3 tonight and on base in this series 5 times.
But these are the kind of at-bats that the Nationals are putting on everybody the last couple of weeks. Quality ABs. And even if Adam LaRoche finishes this off without a hit, it's still a good at-bat because he's making the opposition work. I mean, he finishes it off with a ringing double that Hunter Pence can't get to. But I was asked on a local radio show this morning why the Nationals have started to swing it, and I said it's a tough lineup to get through. It's an American League-like lineup right now, and even if you're getting outs, you still have to be on top of your game to every hitter, hit your spots, mix it up. And there's no deep breath in this lineup right now where you can just relax.
And look at Ramos drive it the other way. Almost hit one out of the ballpark last night. Another busy box score tonight. Rendon, multi-hit game. LaRoche just got one. And then hits from 4 other spots in the lineup. And Span doesn't have a hit, but he's driven in a run. First run of the game. That is right over the outside edge.
I mean, you finally get down to 7, and 7's got 13 home runs and 42 RBIs. You get to 8, well, he's got 6 home runs.
So Zimmerman and Ramos having right field ideas in this series. Ryan very unlucky last night not to have a couple of doubles down the right field line. He will pull this ball, and it's in front of LaRoche. Nowhere to go, and that's 1 out. Next is Ramos, who has doubled to left and bounced out to second base.
Unproductive out right there for Ryan. He's not going to be happy with that at bat.
That Atlanta-Colorado game is now in the top of the 8th inning. Braves 13-9 over the Rockies. It is far from over.
Well, I guess they just took the humidor and blew it up. Hey, we're going to try the off switch this year on the humidor. What do you think?
Ramos trying to turn the on switch right there. Now the Rockies are 12.5 back of these Giants. Dodgers 8.5 back, game to game last night. And they're winning big at Cincinnati 6-0. But the Rockies are a great indication of how you better be able to pitch. It doesn't matter how many runs you can score. Been the story up there for a number of years. Marlins, by the way, at Texas tonight, were 8-5 winners. So they're hanging in there with the Nats and the Braves. Started the night a half game out. That's a great take by Ramos. That pitch would have handcuffed him. 2-1. Two nothing Nats. They've out hit the Giants 8-6. Over his last 13 games, Wilson Ramos hitting right around 340. And that one floating outside, 3-2, another long count in this inning.
Grinding at bats out.
Yeah, and you spotted that trend for several weeks before the runs really started coming. Mercedes-Benz on the pitch track, and this one features offerings all over the place. Ramos goes the other way, and that's another two-hopper to Brandon Hicks for the second out. LaRoche to third. Here's our next five on the TV schedule. Back with you tomorrow night from San Francisco, and another good pitching matchup with Tanner Roark and Matt Cain. Blake Trine and Tim Hudson on Thursday, and then 3 in St. Louis, including a Fox game on Saturday night. WUSA 9 will join us Friday and Sunday. There's Tanner Roark, who will take a record of 4-4 with a 2.91 ERA into that game tomorrow. He's pitched 2 career innings against the Giants in relief, but he has a win to show for it.
You know, it's been kind of impressive about this offensive outburst on this road trip is Petco Park, one of the toughest places to score runs and hit. Nats did it. Padres, one of the best bullpens in the National League. Nats knocked them around, and this ballpark is no picnic to hit in either against this staff.
Ian Desmond hacking hard. Strike one. Giancarlo Stanton, Paul Goldschmidt, Troy Tulowitzki, Michael Morse, and Ian Desmond, the top 5 RBI guys in the National League. That's going to be high in the zone in the outer half. So inside the numbers. Highest batting average against the Giants over the last 3+ years. And he's out ahead of some pretty good hitters. Crowd starting to make some noise here. They know Sandoval's leading off in the bottom of the inning. They want the score to be 2-0. He wanted to. Great stop of the swing by Ian Desmond.
Oh, yeah, right up in your eyes. Looks like a beach ball coming in. Ian Desmond, all systems going. Nice job of holding up. I think that's exactly what it sounded like down there.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He lays off another. Pitch count 3 short of 90. Fister's at 73, by the way, through his 5 innings. And a 2-2 right side. Michael Morse knocks it down. A race to the bag. Safe! Desmond beats it out. The Nats lead 3-0.
Might have a review here. Bruce Bochy is turning around and asking for help.
Well, it looked to me like Madison Bumgarner was already waving his manager out there. We'll see.
Well, this is well worth it for Bruce Bochy because it means a run. It's not just a base runner. This is the difference between a 2-0 game and a 3-0 game, and you almost have to appeal this every single time if it means a run and you're hitting. And there's a little roar in the ballpark. I don't know if the suite holders saw this before we did.
It was interesting. Did Bumgarner hit the middle of the bag and not the front? That's real close to being a tie goes to the runner, and Bruce Bochy is going to get his challenge here.
But do you see how the game has changed? Madison Bumgarner, instead of just losing it and going after
Phil Cuzzy
at first base, just turned around and pointed to his manager and said, no, come on out. No arguments anymore. I'm just telling on you.
And again, the key to all these things is on a really bang close play, the call that's been made has to be conclusively overturned. So if this is hard to decide, it's in the favor of the Nats.
He's looking at Ian Desmond right now. They're having a conversation. I think he asked Desmond, he asked Morse both.
Yeah. Desmond's going to be out. Yeah. As it turns out on the Exmo, not that close. Well, the Nats came close. And instead of 3-0, it's a 2-run game into the bottom of the 6th.
Well, game summary, 2-0 Nationals. 8 hits, 2 runs. Giants no runs on 6 hits. Lost in all the shuffle right there was one whale of an at-bat by Ian Desmond.
Yeah, and he tried to go the other way, almost got a base hit. Michael Morse, not known for defense, able to knock it down, keep his cool, and get it to his pitcher. Now Doug Fister has to work through 4, 5, and 6. Sandoval, Morse, and Blanco.
The Panda seems to be the one Giant that's seeing Fister well tonight. He's got some good hacks. That first one was pretty good too.
Almost identical base hits to left center. So he'll try him inside with a curveball and miss. 1-1. Got that one down low enough that had the Panda reaching. Giants box score, 2 hits in the 3rd and the 4th. And Sandoval, as we mentioned, 2 for 2, but no extra base hits, all singles for San Fran. On a pitch up, That's hit a long way to right center. Jason Worth cannot get there. He'll pick it up with a bare hand on a hop to keep Sandoval to a double.
Interesting to watch that fly ball unfold from where we're sitting. The wind is blowing across from right to left. And it pushed the ball away from Jason Worth. He had a beat on it. Doug Fister trying to climb the ladder right there. And Pablo Sandoval getting on top of the fastball. But Worth had that ball. But the wind just kept pushing it into the gap, and the first extra base hit of the night for the Giants.
And only their third of the series. They had a couple of doubles last night. So here's Michael Morse representing the tying run. Saved a run with his glove. Now trying to get the Giants on the board. Big curveball, a beauty, 72, drops in.
But if you go two-seam fastball here to Morse, get it in. He's trying to hit the ball the other way. He's trying to drive the ball the other way.
It's another breaking ball, and that's out to center for Denard Span. Easy out. Nothing the runner can do. That's big with Blanco coming up. Now you've worked through the really powerful part of their lineup. Although Crawford on deck does have 7 home runs.
Well, even though Michael Morse has a base hit tonight, the Nationals doing a nice job with him in this series, tying him up, and not just with fastballs, with off speed too.
Well, he's 1 for 5, hit by a pitch, blooped one in back in the 4th. And here's Gregor Blanco, who's flied out to Zimmerman and Span. Trying to bunt for a hit.
Might give you an idea how he's seeing Doug Fister tonight with a potential RBI out there and 1 out. He tries to lay down a base hit bunt.
Since that tough start at Oakland when he got things going, on his return, Fister's gone 7-7, 5 1/3, 6, 7 innings last week against the Phillies, and now he's poised for at least 6 or 7 tonight. That's a perfect fastball, close to the hands of the left-hander, on the edge, strike 2. Mercedes will track it.
I mean, we are getting so spoiled watching these pitching performances that we've seen over the last 7 to 10 days. It is not that easy to just put the baseball wherever you want it. And we've seen that on a consistent basis from Nats starters.
Two 2-0 Nats. They've out hit the Giants 8-7. So the pitch count still looking good. Great one down low, hard breaking ball, a foul tip. Doug Fister's first strikeout since the 2nd inning, his 3rd of the night.
We got slider right here with split action late. 83 miles an hour. Watch the end of it. Yeah, it's a slider. Maybe the best pitch of the night from Doug Fister. Bottom drops out. Nothing Blanco can do except for get his glove.
Brandon Crawford is next. He's on a 5-game hitting streak, but he's 0 for 2 tonight. This becomes a big out if you can keep the Giants off the board. There's a base hit. They may not score. Worth stroke coming home. It's waiting, and out at the plate is Sandoval. Jason Worth got it to Ramos in plenty of time.
This has been just a whale of a game. My goodness, look at this throw by Jason Worth. A one-hop bullet right on the money. Tim Flannery sending Pablo Sandoval. Thanks for coming. left, and the guy on the right's been doing everything right tonight. With the bat, with the glove, Jason Worth. Big part of this ball game, because I think Brandon Crawford went to second base. So if Pablo Sandoval is safe, you got the tie and run on second. But Jason Worth charging hard, a one-hop bullet right on the money. Wilson Ramos secures it with two hands. Don't sleep on that. Watch the Buffalo secure it with two hands and make a nice tag. So everybody knows that a Buffalo beats a Panda, and that's what happened right there. And this has been just a great baseball game. I'm telling you what, cleanly played, well pitched, great defense, timely hitting. Doesn't get much better than this from San Francisco. Wow.
And the point I was about to make is that ball went into right field. If you could keep the Giants off the board, they got a hit from Madison Bumgarner in the bottom of the 7th inning, most probably, and you get him out of the game. So it's Espinosa, Pfister, and 26 runners have gone down as a net thanks to Jason Worth.
I think maybe even his brother, who we showed earlier, is a Giants fan, like that play too.
Danny Espinosa on base twice tonight, intentionally walked and a base hit. Danny's hitting right around 265 from the right side of the plate now. So the overall batting average over 230 and climbing. Love to see him get aboard with his speed and give Pfister a bunting chance here in the 7th. And Bumgarner taking a long time. Danny getting time. And that one floating upstairs, 88.
Long way to go in this ball game, but I have Denard Span's at bat in the 5th. The sac fly is the AB of this game so far. Pitchers duel, left on left. Nasty lefty throwing from the first base side of the rubber. Stayed in there nice. Threw it out to left field to get the Nats on the board and break the ice.
Espinosa will hit one in the air to center. That'll back up Angel Pagan. And it took him a step or two from the wall in that breeze here tonight.
Well, how do you know it's a weird night at AT&T is it's even fooling the Giants outfielders. Gregor Blanco on Denard Span's sac fly got fooled. He had to go back on it, and this ball's hit. Danny Espinosa getting all this ball to center field. Good sound. And then here's where the adventures begin for Pagan. Little crossover step.
Yeah, you've talked about the trouble you can get in when you start backpedaling. He had to flip it over to the other side. There's Pfister, and that's ball one. Counts even, 1-1.
Approaching 100 pitches, 97 coming for Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah, last inning of work. And Pfister will swing through that one. The count's even, 2-2. And this one left field. Long run for Gregor Blanco, and he can't get there. Battling the bullpen mound. Not too many bullpens are on the fields anymore. What, this and Wrigley Field maybe? It's about it. And it's a dangerous play for an outfielder.
Well, I thought he had this easy. You see him take his eye off the ball, and I don't know if the mound really had anything to do with it. Maybe at the end right there, that last step. But I mean, just based on the pace of him chasing that baseball, I thought he had it in his back pocket.
2-2. And Pfister fights, but he strikes out. Madison Bumgarner with his 5th K of the night.
Saturdays and Sundays are fun days with the Harris Teeter Family Fun Pack at Nationals Park. With the purchase of every Family Fun Pack ticket, you receive a hot dog, all that in a bag of chips, and a drink starting at just $19. Some restrictions apply. Get your tickets now at nationals.com/family.
Well, Denard Span 0 for 2 tonight, but he's hit the ball hard twice. 2 line drives to the outfield. One of them a sac fly to put the Nationals on top in the 5th. Guarding against the 2-out bunt hit, Sandoval on the grass at 3rd. Michael Morse even with the bag at 1st.
Things stay the way they are. What do you got bigger, Span sack fly or Jason Worth's throw right there?
And I'll take the one that puts you on top. But there has to be a defensive play of the game too.
I'm with you. Yeah, that's the offensive play and that's the defensive play.
That's the difference between this ball club now and a couple weeks ago. You had to make plays like that because the runs weren't being scored.
Good point.
Now it keeps you ahead when you make that play. Span waited for that breaking ball, and Michael Morse takes care of it. 7th inning stretch time at AT Park in San Francisco. 102 pitches, 67 strikes for Madison Bumgarner. It's our Hyundai 7th inning stretch. The Nats trying to make it 2 in a row. Great ball game, 2-0. Brought to you by T-Mobile. And if you don't watch every game of this series, that's right where you're going. We're going to send you to Alcatraz, AT&T Park.
Yes.
Let's go back to 1972. We got some Volkswagen history for you. Henry Aaron, he and Willie Mays passed each other a bunch of times, but this would be the last time Henry would pass Willie on the all-time home run list. Grand Slam is 14th, tied Gil Hodges' Grand Slam mark. Home run number 649. 65 short of Babe Ruth. Hammer and Hank would take care of that, and Willie Mays would end up with 660. Boy, the players from that era, unbelievable. Tyler Colden on deck to hit for Madison Bumgarner. This is Brandon Hicks and Doug Pfister.
Say hey, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Always in the Giants clubhouse, always talking to players.
Taking you to breakfast?
Yeah, I haven't seen him this trip. I don't know if he's still coming to the ballpark.
Ground ball, fly ball. Brandon Hicks 0 for 2. Pfister misses with a fastball away, and the count's even. So Madison Bumgarner is going to be done for the night after 102 pitches, 67 strikes. Funny, when Pfister pitched against him in the World Series, Doug pitched well enough to win, but lost a close ball game. Maybe tonight's the night the tables turn. Drew Storen, ready when needed.
Well, a tie and run comes up. I think Drew Storen's in. We'll see.
And there's the first walk by a Nationals pitcher in about 7 full ball games. Wow. 51 strikeouts took place in between walks. Right-hander Juan Gutierrez for the Giants, and Tyler Colvin, who had a double in 4 trips last night, will be the pinch hitter.
Matt Williams sticking with the starter.
And he gets ahead.
Pitch number 93 coming.
Coming off his start against the Phillies when he threw 93 in 7 innings. 2 runs on only 4 hits. It's been a while since we've seen the Nats bullpen, at least much of it. Aaron Baird, Ross Detweiler, some mop-up work in a blowout last night. And a breaking ball. Span broke back, and then he's got plenty of time to come in to grab a very important first out with the top of the order coming up. That'll be Angel Pagan, who's 1 for 3.
All right, as we promised you earlier in the game, here's your AT&T photo.
William Howard Taft.
Yes.
In good company. Can't really see our friend on the right very well.
I think that's Sue and maybe Janet on the right, and
Abe in the background.
Taft having a fun time at the ballpark. Good for him.
Ooh, dangerous. That's a left-handed batter in Wilson Ramos' throwing lane there. And Adam LaRoche, spotting that short throw, came forward to get it. That'll make sure you keep the double play in order here no matter what. Pagan not running like he usually does. Pagan with a base hit off the glove of Danny Espinosa last time up. That'll even the count. In the top of the 9th inning at Colorado, it is Atlanta leading 13-10.
And the Rockies just trying to get into field goal range.
I'm glad we're watching this game and not that one.
I think they have all their timeouts left too. That's good.
And a 1-1. Fastball up. Pagan took it. Angel Pagan has really elevated his game as a Giant. Hit .306 one year with the Mets, but that was only in 88 games in 09. Signed a 4-year deal a year after coming here as a free agent. And Anthony Rendon is going to pick off Brandon Hicks at first on a 5-3 double play. Nats get a break on a hard hit ball, and Doug Fister is through 7.
Boy, a low line drive down. Here about low line drives in the infield. Watch Brandon Hicks at first base. There's nowhere for him to go. Even if this ball's through, he's not going to advance to third base. So down by 2 runs, you see his first step, he takes off. Whenever you see the ball low in the infield, make it be through. Him getting to third base right there is irrelevant, and it was hit so hard there's no way he would have went first to third. So you just make the ball be through, you jog into second base, and now you have the go-ahead run at the plate in the form of Hunter Pence, or in that case, if he got back, the tying run. So a base running error there by the Giants, and we said in a game like this with pitchers like that it would be the little things that separates a win from a loss.
Here is Juan Gutierrez, 30-year-old right-hander from Venezuela. Split time between the Royals and the Angels last year. 3 years with Arizona, 1 with Houston before that. The league only hitting .200 against him. And an ERA of 2.93. 24 Ks in 28 innings. First up, Anthony Rendon, who engineered that double play. Probably the last pitch of the night thrown by Doug Fister, as the bullpen is heating up. That's up and in. Tyler Clippard told to get up and start throwing as soon as that inning came to a close. Rendon facing Gutierrez for the first time. Takes one right in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Worth and LaRoche to follow. Top 8. And then that slider stays upstairs. Anthony, a great return to the lineup tonight. He's pulled 2 line drives with authority for base hits to left field. Batting average up to .277. And he saw a fastball away and takes it the other way.
Well, Gutierrez is a guy the Giants got off the scrap heap, basically. Couldn't throw strikes. They've taught him how to throw strikes, and the fastball that averages 94 miles an hour, the big arm of Gutierrez, is finally in the strike zone. He's having a great year. Slider at 84 to go with it. Curveball at 81. Occasional changeup.
And a 2-2 and a really good take by Rendon. Anthony now over his last 8 games hitting close to .330. Put on a power show in San Diego before he got hurt Friday night. Target outer half. And it got in on his hands. The wind can't help it enough. It is at the corner of the track for Gregor Blanco. There's Jason Worth, who's had a big night suddenly, late innings.
Oh, big hairy guy's been doing it all tonight. Clutch hitting. So base hit to score Danny Espinosa, and so not only doing it with the lumber, doing it with the leather too. Crawford with the base hit. Buffalo beats Panda. Everybody happy in the Nats dugout, and it was all because of a Giants fan that probably we converted tonight into a Nationals fan, and there he is.
He's not looking real happy, if you ask me.
Jason Worth's brother. Well, he's covering up the Giants hat because he knows that Jason's the player of the game.
And on a fastball, that's bounced to Brandon Crawford.
And by the way, Jason's going to kill me tomorrow for doing that. All right, you can celebrate Father's Day with the Potomac Nationals. Where else would you rather be? Sunday, June 15th, the Peanuts are honoring all fathers with a special Superheroes Day at Fitzner Stadium. There's a pregame picnic. There's gifts. You have player-worn Iron Man jerseys. All kinds of stuff going on down there. For tickets, see it on the bottom of your screen. And he is not happy that Jason Worth has had a great game tonight. He's just beyond upset. And you would think he would be happy for a family member having a great game.
You know, you already said you're going to get in trouble, and now you're starting all over again.
He's going to kill me.
Get a hold of yourself, man.
He's going to kill me.
Don't assume everybody's asleep.
Oh, his phone's already ringing in his locker, trust me.
LaRoche will rip one down toward the bullpen. Adam 2 for 3 tonight. Batting average up to .313. On base percentage around .425 now. And Pablo Sandoval is the Lone Ranger on the left side of this infield. With nobody on base, they've really got a shift on here.
DC area Lexus dealers donating $250 to the Children's National Medical Center for every Tater Nats player hits this season. So Lexus, the pursuit of perfection, keep them coming. I think that means the truck wants a tater right here. They always make me read that right when they want one.
They've been known to call a few. Two and one to LaRoche. I mean, when you count the infielders, the umpire, Tony Tarasco, the bullpen, the right side of this ballpark right now,
the stadium's tilting.
Looks like batting practice. Guys all over the place. There we go.
That's a shift. It's the mother of all shifts.
You have your backup bullpen catcher protecting your guys warming up. Adam LaRoche thought he'd walked, and now it's 3-2.
There's the pitch again. And we haven't seen it for a couple of days, so it hasn't really been the daily outside ball that's called a strike to Adam LaRoche, but there's one.
Alfonso Marquez has been pretty liberal with the outside corner tonight. (3-2) with 2 outs. And LaRoche will hit it over to Pablo Sandoval, making like a shortstop, and on the run, throwing out LaRoche with a pretty good play. Then Ats go 1-2-3 in the 8th. Tyler Clippard on the way on the heels of a great night for Doug Fister. Of the Washington Nationals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Cold night in San Francisco. 41,545, hoping the Giants can mount a comeback. They'll have to do it now against the best bullpen in baseball. So the T-Mobile Giants do up. Well, it's 2-3-4. And in this series, Pablo Sandoval has all 3 of his hits tonight. Buster Posey's 0 for 3 tonight. First up, Hunter Pence. Tyler Clippard. And Hunter Pence against him, career 0 for 1 with a walk.
Opponents hitting 181 against Tyler Clippard this year. Fastball, curveball, change, split.
Giants fans generating their own noise. And that breaking ball evidently high.
Well, good take by Hunter Pence right here, laying off a borderline pitch to start this at-bat. Pitch track
not showing up on that one.
He'll do that from time to time. It's the fork ball.
And then Hunter Pence thought, well, he's going to lay a cookie in trying to get a strike. But it was a 77-mile-an-hour changeup. As we mentioned last night, it wasn't that obvious in the game last night. This is one of the toughest places in baseball to get the final 6 outs, especially those final 3. That's 91 away, and Pence, his bat wasn't long enough for that.
Yeah, Hunter Pence with a base hit to right field tonight. He's in pull mode right now, but with 2 strikes, he'll adjust and try to go the other way.
And Clippard throws him a breaking ball. Nice hop for Ian Desmond. And a very important first out with Buster Posey coming up.
Well, they're all big right now. You got to get Buster Posey because Pablo Sandoval's on deck.
Pretty appropriate here.
Hassan's word of the day today is a reliever. Text it to 29292 for your chance to win a meet and greet with Denard Span, presented by Outback Steakhouse. Try the new Moonshine Barbecue.
Buster Posey going up, hacking. Career against Tyler Clippard, 2 for 3 with a walk. Both hits singles. And tonight a ground ball, couple of flies. And this one out to right center. Just getting on for his teammates. And that gives Buster Posey an 8-game hitting streak.
And Giants need base runners. Nice piece of hitting by Buster Posey to bring Pablo Sandoval up to the plate. You could make the argument that the save is right here, right now in the 8th inning for Tyler Clippard. Michael Morse on deck, Pablo Sandoval in the box.
And in the career matchup, which we look at a lot this stage of a game, Pablo Sandoval 0 for 4 career against Clippard with 2 strikeouts.
Fastballs up, changeup's down. See how they play it.
Singled twice to left against Pfister, and then a double to right center. 81 low. Giants warming up their closer, Sergio Romo, who has the most saves of anybody in the league, 20.
Doubling up.
And a funny looking piece of contact there.
Yeah, it's just hard for Pablo Sandoval to take 2 pitches in a row. He's a guy that's swinging from the on-deck circle, and a good call by Wilson Ramos right there. And pretty good execution from Tyler Clippard to get strike 1.
Bottom of the 8th. 2-0 Nats. It's been that way since the 5th inning. Target away on 1-1, looking for a rollover grounder. Instead, the pitch is up.
Might not be the worst thing in the world for Tyler Clippard to fall behind right here, in the sense that you got a guy that's going to swing, and it plays right into your changeup.
Enjoying your time back in San Francisco, Matt Williams? Well, last night was a good one. 3-1 now.
There you go, change up or locate a fastball. I'd like to know how many 3-1 counts Pablo Sandoval has found himself in this year.
And Clippard walks in. 2 on, 1 out. Pablo on for the 4th time. And now 2 former teammates will be battling. And Michael Morse has never faced Tyler Clippard.
Well, this just got a whole lot more interesting.
They're going to run for Sandoval with Eda Adrianza, speedy infielder, at first base.
Well, Nats fans know all too well Michael Morse's pop is up the middle the other way. The Nats have been trying to tie him up this whole series with fastballs and off speed on the inner half. And like I said, if you're going into the beast, get it in off the plate and hope he swings.
Michael Morse 1 for 3 with a bloop single tonight. When he dropped that ball in back in the 4th, it broke an 0 for 7 for him. Almost goes in there. Clippard left it out over the plate. And you could hear the ooze from some of the fans here at AT Park on this swing.
Right down Broadway, and Michael Morse was thinking one thing. 3-2 Giants. He fouled it straight back. And he definitely wants that one more time.
And the changeup floats up and in. Michael Morse, 13 homers, 42 RBIs. In this series, 1 for 5. And then Morse reaching on 90. That would have been off the plate. Instead, it's 1-2.
A little cut to that 90 from Tyler Clippard. Ball kind of riding away from Michael Morse, and he ran out of bat. Bruce Bochy's thinking, I got my guy up there. That's all I can ask for.
Giants are 22-10 at home. Matt Williams Nats 14-14 on the road. And a changeup inside, just fading in at the last moment. 2-2. Two-nothing ball game, tying runs on base. And Michael Morse lays off a fastball up and in.
Well, we got some drama.
These are two really good ball clubs going toe-to-toe tonight after a blowout last night. Clippard goes with the changeup, and it's hooking foul. over the Giants bullpen.
Boy, you got to have some kind of confidence in your changeup to throw a 3-2 right there in this situation. Tyler Clippard goes with it, the 3-2 count. Morse recognizes fastball, adjusts his swing, catches it out front, and will do it again. I don't know what you throw right here. I'm lost. Fastball away.
Fastball up for the strikeout. Michael Morse down on strikes, 2 down.
Well, let's check out the sequence as we all collectively catch our breaths. Wow, has this game been good. First pitch fastball right down Broadway, gets away with it. Then goes changeup to a cut fastball away. Another changeup in, fish ain't biting. Elevated fastball, fish ain't biting. Catches the changeup out front. And then goes with the 93 heat by the Beast. Whew. Having any fun yet?
Here's Gregor Blanco. I'll tell you at the end of this half inning. 0 for 1 career against Clippard with a walk. Contact guy. And he helps out by swinging at ball 1. Cold night. Tyler trying to keep that right hand warm and moist. Second base Posey singled with 1 out. Moved over there on a walk by Sandoval. Adrianza runs for him. And he gets him with another one down there. No balls, 2 strikes.
Well, you know what I'm going to say. You can triple up if you want. You go elevated fastball out of the zone, change his eye line. But right now, Blanco not picking up the changeup from Tyler Clippard. You get greedy, you go right to it. You can set it up with the pitch. Either way works. At least that's what Tyler Clippard is hoping.
Target in. Fly ball to center. Denard Span right there. And Tyler Clippard, who hasn't worked a whole lot lately, shakes off a little bit of rust and gets a big 0 on the board in the bottom of the 8th. To you by PNC Bank for the Achiever in you, and by your local DC area Land Rover retailers. Visit DCAreaLandRover.com for special lease and finance offers. What a night in San Francisco. 21 pitches, 13 strikes. A marathon 8th inning for Tyler Clippard.
Boy, if you just don't like this game, I really can't help you, because this is what baseball's all about. Tyler Clippard going challenge fastball to Michael Morse, 3-2 count. The whole ballpark on their feet. And Morse representing the go-ahead run for the Giants, strikes out. And how about that for a Toyota case for kids? The DC area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season. That one should be tripled.
Breaking ball in there. Gutierrez stays in the ball game. They had Sergio Romo warming up. A lot of teams never warm up their closer and don't bring him in. Ede Adrianza stays in and plays third base. Zimmerman 0 for 3. That ball's inside. And against Juan Gutierrez, Ryan is 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. How big would a run be here? Soriano has started his warm-ups down the right field line. And Zimmerman pulls one left side. Adrianza into the game. The ball finds him. 1 out.
All right, fans, you can follow every Nats game this year on MLB.com app on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day and more. Download on the App Store and visit Nationals.com today. And it is today where you're at. It's yesterday where we're at, which is really today, and you're in tomorrow. And I nailed that, by the way.
Well, for a guy who went back to 2012 and back in one night, you're doing fine. That's a great swing by Wilson Ramos. Goes down and gets it, plugging the gap. He's looking for another 2-bagger tonight, and he is in there. Wilson Ramos 2 for 4 with a pair of extra base hits. And looking good running the bases as well.
Yeah, it's running very well. So double first time up, a pair of ground balls to second base, and last time up, Wilson Ramos goes shopping in the gap. A 1-out double here in the 9th. And look at the hustle by Wilson Ramos, barreling into second base, just beats the throw. And something may have happened to the Buffalo at second. Matt Williams, Lee Kuntz out to check him out. And it would be really shocking if it was a hand injury or a hand issue.
He went in spikes first, went in hard.
He's playing with his hand a little bit.
Lee Kuntz oversees the position players. Steve Gober the pitchers. Another look at his entry to second base.
Well, sometimes you put your hand down when you're sliding. Which one hits the dirt? Yeah, the right one hit really hard. And that wasn't the hand that he had the operation on. He's coming out of the game.
He's coming out. Well, the Nats can use somebody speedy like Nate McLouth to run for him. And, of course, Jose Lobaton would catch the ninth.
Boy, you don't want to burn 2 players in case it goes extra. Now, you got to go with Lobaton right here and save your bench. Can't burn 2 players for 1 deal. It's a good idea by you. I know what you're thinking. You want the speed out there to make it a 3-0 game. But, you know, should this thing keep going?
That's why it's taken a while.
You want your bench to be intact? Well, you nailed it. Good job.
Yeah, Lobaton putting on the gear for the 9th.
You know what you're going to do right here? You're going to put McLouth into left field. So you're not really burning 2 players for 1. He'll go play left for Zimmerman, and then you put Lobaton behind the plate, and you have a double switch with Soriano coming in. So good move by Matt Williams and a good call by you, Carp.
So good speed out there. And the way Ian Desmond swinging the bat. Nats have put themselves in a position here to go up by 3. Desmond lays off the first pitch slider. He's 0 for 1 career against Juan Gutierrez. And that's well inside, ball 2. Ian Desmond 1 for 3 tonight.
Huge tack on run sitting at second base. Huge.
And that slight piece is at the knees. 2-1. Well, you want to give your closer as much margin as you can. Hopefully this is precautionary as much as anything.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Lee will follow him to the clubhouse. And Desmond rips one to right into the chest of Hunter Pence. Tough luck, 2 outs. Now it's Danny Espinosa's chance to get the Nats that highly coveted 3rd run. And Greg Dobbs steps out on deck for Tyler Clippard, who officially is still in the game. Danny Espinosa tonight walked in the 2nd intentionally. Base hit, run scored in the 5th. And then he pinned Angel Pagan up against the center field wall in the 7th. Posey wants it up. And Danny, who's had a hole in his swing up there, good job to lay off. There he is, Soriano coming off the blown saves in San Diego Saturday night.
And he will face 7, 8, 9.
This is one of those times when it's just important for Danny to get the ball in play with 2 outs. He's 11 for his last 28 over 8 games. And that's inside, 2-1.
He swung the bat well in the San Diego series. Had a rough night last night. They got a base hit tonight. Intentional walk. Hit the ball hard as last time up, like you said.
Two-one pitch. And that one really slams into the mask of Buster Posey. Wow. 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Tanner Roark, Matt Cain. Roark 1.77 last 6 starts. Matt Cain's been on the DL twice this year with a finger injury and a hamstring. So he's 1-3 with a 3.52 ERA. Johnny and Ray doing that late night thing for you again. 9:30 pregame, Nats Extra.
Well, that was a direct hit with Buster Posey.
Wouldn't Tanner Roark love to take the mound, trying to make it 3 in a row for the Nats in this series? 2-2 count to Danny Espinosa. Gutierrez. Breaking ball. Danny lifts it to left, and Gregor Blanco is waiting. It's been 2-0 since the 5th inning. The Nats need 3 outs to take a hold on this series. We too, Mr. Knight, marveling at the pitching, and now you need 3 more outs. Nate McLeod stays in, plays left field, so Ryan Zimmerman out. Jose Lobaton should be batting 9th in catching. We hope we never see him batting in this game. And the call to the bullpen for Soriano, packaged by the UPS store. It's your one-stop shop for all your small business needs. Let them handle your mailbox service needs. We love logistics. Crawford, Hicks, and then a pinch hitter as Rafael makes his 25th appearance of the year and coming off a game in San Diego that he would love to bounce back from.
12 for 14 in save opportunities. Opponents hitting just 173 against Rafael Soriano. Fastball, slider.
A bubble to be burst here by Soriano. Somebody up in the stands on the right side has a bubble machine. And here's Brandon Crawford, who is 0 for 1 career against Soriano. Ball 1. Brandon Hicks on deck. They have a backup catcher, Sanchez, a switch hitter, but their other pinch hitters remaining are right-handed batters. Ball 2. Bubble Cam, and now back to center field to see if he can throw a strike. Target away. Right in there. Not exactly where Lobaton was set up. By the way, Jose Lobaton is batting in the number 5 spot, and as mentioned earlier, we hope we don't see him bat tonight. 2-1 pitch. Right in there at the knees.
92 miles an hour. Maybe a little cut to this fastball. Check it out again. Right where Jose Lobaton wanted it. Down and in.
And a 2-2. Right center. Jason Worth, and he can't get there. That ball's going to the 421 mark, and that's a triple for Brandon Crawford. Soriano is now giving up extra base hits to the pull side in the 9th inning.
Well, he continues to flirt with the inner half to lefties, and that time it was just out over the plate. Missed his location. Lobaton wanted it down and in. It was belt tie out over the middle, and Brandon Crawford knew exactly what to do with it. So a leadoff triple here in the 9th for the Giants, and they don't go away, folks.
Well, that run doesn't mean much of anything, so it's just time to keep the rest of them off base. Sanchez, the pinch hitter, is on deck, and the hitter is Brandon Hicks, who's never faced Soriano before. Nats don't care what happens here. They just want to retire the batter. Out of play, right side. Two nothing Washington. And there's Hector Sanchez, their switch hitting catcher, who has faced Soriano twice and is 2 for 2 against him. Oh, he keeps falling behind. This is getting dangerous. This is the bottom of the order. And the count, 2-1.
Now you just have to treat Hicks like he's the leadoff hitter. Get an out right here. Brandon Crawford irrelevant at third base. But like you said, you have to throw strikes and get in that zone. Pretty good pitch. I don't think he wanted it up there, but it looked like it had some plate to me. See what pitch track has to say.
I mean, that ball is where the hands of the hitter are. Not sure what Alfonso Marquez saw, but it was not high. Well, you make pitchers throw the ball between the knees and the waist, they're going to get lit up. 3-1 pitch now. And then he gets a strike call on a fastball that might have been off the plate.
Well, I honestly thought the pitch before was better. A couple of calls that could go either way. One went for the Giants, one went for the Nats, and here we go.
3-2. Runner at third, nobody out. And Soriano gets the ball up, and it's just barely foul tipped. He makes a good pitch. A run scores. Desmond guns it to LaRoche for the first out. Both teams are happy with that result. And it's a 2-1 ball game.
Well, clean slate. Now you start all over again with a 2-out save with nobody on and a 1-run lead.
Braves won their game. Marlins won. So right now the Nats, if they take care of business, jump right back into a tie with Atlanta. And as mentioned earlier, here's Hector Sanchez. 2-for-2 career against Soriano with a home run and a single.
Yeah, he had a home run at Nats Park last year, I believe. And it was a heartbreaker.
Giants have out-hit the Nats 10-9. 2-1 ball game.
And still flirting with that inner half. Short porch here and right.
Borderline pitch over the plate. 2 balls, 1 strike.
I was talking to former Giants closer Rob Ben the other day, and he was asking me about Soriano, closer to closer stuff. And I said, well, he throws a lot of pitches into lefties late in the game. He said, that's a dangerous way to live for a closer.
Look out. Wow, a screamer into the seats.
And Rob Ben, a guy carpet threw 96 miles an hour, and he would still stay away to lefties late in the game.
Well, if there's a ballpark where you should do that, we're sitting in it right now. You make them hit it gap to gap here, you've got a chance.
He backed me the slider with 2 strikes to lefties, but the fastball was always on the outer half.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Hector Sanchez. Was hit 2 homers and driven in 21 this year. All 3. 2 for 11 with 2 batted in as a pinch hitter. On deck, Angel Pagan back at the top of the Giants order. And a breaking ball hooked into right field, foul. Another one to the pull side.
And you got to make him beat you the other way. You have to.
Things all over the place in this AB. And another payoff pitch. Threw him a strike, and he gets a fly ball. Desmond out, under it. 2 down.
Oh, made a big pitch, got a big out. And now he's going to get a tough out in Angel Pagan to end this game.
Angel Pagan, 2 for 5 career against Soriano with a double, a homer, and a pair of walks. About to throw his 20th pitch of the inning. Pagan 1 for 4 with a single back in the 5th. And he finally gets ahead. There's that backdoor breaking ball.
Backdoor slider, good pitch.
And a ball served out to center. Denard Span is there. And the Nats have won 9 of their last 11.
I mean, tip your cap to Doug Fister. Just did an outstanding job here tonight. They got the clutch hits when they needed them. Denard Span with a big at-bat of the night, getting the Nats on the board with a sac fly. Jason Worth doing it all in right field. And stay hot, Washington Nationals crank up the fogger in the clubhouse. The hottest team in baseball stays hot.
Now the Nats have won 3 in a row, and they stay tied with the Braves atop the National League East. Well, FP called it a couple of hours ago. A playoff atmosphere. 2 great ball clubs. The Nats come on top. And tomorrow, 10 O'Rourke and Matt Cain. This has been a Masson presentation. Stay tuned. Johnny and Ray with a good story to tell on Nats Extra postgame. And again from San Francisco. See you later.